So many people are seeing the success of streamers who make all this money and are living the dream, and they say, man, I want to do that. And I totally get it. I mean, you get to play games and get paid a lot of money for it. It sounds like a dream. The thing is what you see isn't the reality of what it really is. I'm not saying those streamers aren't making millions, and they are obviously playing games while they do it, but, well, today I want to pull back the curtain just a little bit, but also tell you how you could stream for a living. Hello my YouTube friends! I think it's important to start out as informed as possible about what you're really seeing from these millionaire streamers. The cream of the crop streamers, let's call them the 1%ers, are raking in millions with endorsements, members, streaming donations, affiliate payments, and all that sort of stuff. And they all have the same thing in common. They've been doing it for a long time. A lot longer than you think. And when I say it, I don't just mean live streaming. I mean gaming at a high level, as most of these guys have a competitive gaming background. They also all have a team behind them that helps with the daily operation of the stream, from the overlays to landing sponsors. They are the on-screen talent, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Why does any of this matter? Well, it's really important for you to understand that that is the 1%, and that's not realistically achievable in 2 years. In 5 or 10 years, maybe, but even then, it's a long shot. So what I want to focus on here is how you can realistically make a living wage from live streaming. Now, when I say a living wage, I mean enough to own a home or rent an apartment, have a car, cover monthly expenses, and put enough food on the table. And that number varies massively depending upon where you actually live. Not long ago, there was a leak of Twitch data that showed what streamers were making, and the reality is the leak showed less than 20% of all streamers were making anywhere near a living wage, with the actual numbers being anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 a year coming in. And that's less than 20% of the streamers. Now, I don't know where you live, but where I live, $40,000 a year is the poverty line. You could possibly scrape by, but it really wouldn't be a lot of fun. But you know what? Let's parse this out a little bit. $40,000 a year is $3,333 a month. So an average apartment is around $1,500 on the low end, and a used beater car is probably $300 to $500 a month, so you can get to the grocery store. You're gonna need internet to stream, and heat and AC to be comfortable, and maybe a Netflix subscription so you actually have something to do when you're not streaming. And all of those expenses could easily be around $400. Now, if you're adding it all up, that doesn't leave a whole heck of a lot for food, gas, savings, entertainment on a monthly basis. It certainly isn't living the high life. And $40,000 is the high end of the scale for folks not in the 1% of Twitch streamers. Now, I'm not telling you this to try to discourage you from trying to become a full-time streamer, but I really want to show you the reality of the current landscape so I can tell you how you can do it better. So first, let's lay out where the problems are with the traditional model and talk about what even the 1% are doing to make it better. The biggest problem with the traditional streaming model, whether it's Twitch or YouTube, is the simple fact that if you aren't streaming, you aren't making any money. Sure, you have recurring memberships, but even those don't grow unless you're actually streaming. So imagine if Jeff Bezos had to be at his desk for Amazon to work. The second he left his desk, the whole site shuts down until he's back at his desk. He wouldn't be a billionaire, I can promise you that. The second problem is discoverability. Twitch has none at all, and YouTube isn't really working that hard to find streams and audience either. And without an audience, well, needless to say, you don't make any money. Now, those 1%ers and even many of the remaining 20% got in early when there was a lot less content to sift through, and have been doing this for a really long time. But my guess is you don't have 5 years to work before you can make an actual living wage. Now that you completely understand the truth of the traditional streaming model, let me show you how you can break it and make a living as a live streamer. Now, if you follow this roadmap, you could be sustainable in about a year, maybe sooner, but either way, that's a lot better than the 2 to 4 year traditional streaming route. When you first start streaming, the last thing you really should be worried about is making money. The money comes from having an audience, and that needs to be your only focus, growing an audience. Phase 1. So the first thing you want to do is make sure your streams are entertaining for the viewer. The best time to learn this skill is when no one is actually watching anyways. And believe me, when you first start out, no one's going to be watching. So set a schedule for the first month and design your stream and just go live. Now make sure to keep your setup simple and focus on the entertainment and be consistent for that first month. Now over the first month, try not to change much on your stream. Just focus on the art of entertaining your audience. Now once that first month is over, now it's time to evaluate how things are going. Now you're going to want to look over all the streams you did for the month and evaluate what worked and what didn't. This shouldn't be too hard since we kept the stream simple and we didn't make a lot of changes. Now I have no doubt that there are going to be a lot of bad moments in the month, and those are good learning experiences. But there's also going to be a few high spots, and those pieces are things that you need to take note of and try to recreate. Now that you know what's bad and good about your stream, you can rework it and add things that are going to help accent those highlight moments and eliminate as much of the aspects that create bad moments as possible. This is your intro to stream planning here, and you want to take special care to segment out your streams if you can. Segmenting out your streams is going to make phase 2 a heck of a lot easier, because phase 2 is where we start to grow. Phase 2. After a full month of streaming, you should be pretty familiar with all the tasks that are required for streaming at this point. And with a new plan in place, that should make the streams even more entertaining. So in phase 2, we're going to be learning a new skill, and that is editing. You need to be able to edit your streams into content that's evergreen on your channel. Evergreen content is content that's always relevant, or at least relevant for a very long time. Releasing regular videos edited up from your live streams solves the problem of not making money while you're not streaming. Recorded content never sleeps. It's always working to help grow your audience. It also solves the problem of discoverability. Recorded content is much easier for YouTube to help find an audience for. YouTube will push the content out and grow your audience for you, which is awesome. Creating content from your streams should not be hard. Just come up with a narrative for a video, like 5 epic kills, or 5 epic fails, and then grab clips from your streams that are relevant to the narrative and create that content. Now you gotta be sure to craft good titles and thumbnails for those videos as well. These skills are ones that will improve over time, but to find success, you're gonna need to learn them or pay someone else to do it. Now I did a video on simple editing tricks for this type of content and using free editing software to do it. You can check out the link in the description or at the end of the video if you want to check that video out. Throughout phase 2, there are really 2 super important things that you want to keep in mind. Number 1, keep a regular schedule for your live streams, same time and days each week. Number 2, keep a regular schedule for your video releases, same time and same days each week. If you do that, you're going to consistently get better at all the things you need to learn, and you're going to keep your audience engaged in your content. Consistency is probably more important than actual skill. However, actual skill will be learned over time if you're consistently doing something. They feed off each other, and the YouTube algorithm definitely rewards consistency. Now, phase 2 is never ending in case you didn't guess, but it is important that every few months you go back and you evaluate what's working and what isn't, and then adjust. So 1 month into phase 2, when you have a rhythm going and you're keeping a schedule, you can start working on how to make a living actually doing this. So let me talk about the sources of revenue for a live streamer. The most obvious one is ad revenue through the partnership programs on whatever platform you're on. You're going to eventually meet the requirements, and your streams and your video content will bring in some money. Inevitably, ad revenue is going to be the smallest part of your income for a couple of reasons. It doesn't pay very much, and it wildly fluctuates from month to month depending upon so many different factors, none of which you have any control over. Membership programs through Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, and other sites are a great way to start earning right away. A Patreon is a simple thing to set up, and you don't need any requirements to do it. You can offer a few perks and start earning money right away from your audience. Donation systems for live streams exist exist through Streamlabs and Stream Elements, and they don't have any access requirements. You can set these up from day one, long before you get access to super chats or bits, and they don't keep any of the money, so you get 100% of the tips minus a small PayPal fee, which is a lot less than 30%. Affiliate revenue can be had from day one as well. Find a product that you think is going to help your audience and that they're going to be interested in and that you also like. Join their affiliate program and talk about it. For every sale, or sometimes even for just every click, you're going to get a small percentage. Believe me when I tell you, it seems like a waste of time at first, but over time as you grow, it becomes huge. So don't miss out on this one. Merch sales can be another source of income as you grow. Your audience wants to feel a part of the group, and a cool t-shirt or mug or something with your catchphrase on it is a great way for them to participate. Then there's the sponsorship deals, and there are a lot of people that think that only big channels get these. That's just not true. Depending on your content, there are thousands of companies that want access to your audience. Sometimes you just have to work a little harder to find the right company. When planning out how to earn a living with live streaming, it's important to take an all of the above approach. Every single one of these sources is going to help you get sustainable faster, and those aren't the only methods, just the most popular ones. Other ways are creating a course based on the content to help others, or creating a product that your audience would be looking for. For example, if you were a DJ, you could create an album that your audience would want to hear. The truth that most people won't tell you is there is just a lot to learn in the content creation game. It takes a lot of time to learn enough for it to start to actually pay off. It just does. Now, with that said, if you follow these guidelines, they're gonna help you to become sustainable faster and with a more stable income at that. Now, this definitely isn't the kind of content that I normally do, but if this information helped you, please let me know in the comments below, or if it sucked, you can let me know that too. And if you want to learn some simple tips for editing your live streams into content using free software, you should check this video out. Big thanks to the sponsors that support this channel. You can find their links down below in the description under the heading sponsors. I couldn't possibly do this without them or you, so thanks. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.